1. This happened when I was working for the non-trademark infringing Polmart as an unloader. We did exactly that. We unloaded the truck to pallets and then moved those pallets to the floor to be worked by third shift. It was a horrible, thankless job. It's also a job that doesn't lend itself to customer service very much. Not only that, but an unloader has no idea about the ins and outs of other departments. Anyway, one of the last things off the truck are huge pallets of dog food that each weigh close to a ton. We usually take turns avoiding having to pull them, unless the good boss was there, who would let us race. Quickest person out to pets and back, with one of those behemoths, could take a 30-minute break on the clock for both 15-minute breaks in the shift. This night, I was not lucky. So I'm dressed like an unloader in typical Polmart garb with a name tag and a colorful vest on that no one in their right mind would wear, unless they were being poorly paid to wear it. I'm pulling an 1,850-pound pallet of dog food at full clock because I want to win. Now, under the best of circumstances, a poorly wrapped near-ton of dog food doesn't stop really quickly. And when it has to, bad things tend to occur. Add in my moving much faster than the best of circumstances because of the race, and a doctor's bill is required. So I bust through the doors of electronics as full bore and go steaming down part of the video games aisle, which was completely clear a moment ago, and then a wild customer appears. This old defiant lady steps right out in front of me, less than 4 steps ahead of me, and 1,800 pounds of flying dog food, and asks, "Sir, do you work here?" I hit the brakes hard. By this I mean I pull the lever that drops the load to the floor. The pallet still moves forward, and a double wheel creams the back of my foot. The dog food sways forward, and in my head, I see a half-ton of dog food just crushing this old lady. So I twist and push on the leaning tower of Pow Chow, but, thankfully, it falls backward instead. Several bags break open. A guy pulling something else out from the back nearly gets smashed by the falling bags, but just barely dodges some. Things on his pallet fall off and crash as they hit the floor. Found out later it was a box of glass piggy banks destined for jewelry. I turn back around and in my best customer service voice ask, "I'm sorry, ma'am, could you repeat that?" This little old lady has enough sense about her to know that something just happened. I couldn't tell if her grasp was firm enough to realize just how bad it could have become. "Do you work here?" she asked again, a bit more meekly than before. "No," I replied. "It's just my turn to feed Clifford." By this time, 2 managers had arrived. One was angry at me, and the other, upon hearing what I said, had to stifle laughter. They were different level managers. The mad manager tries to help the lady with her TV questions, while the other one helped me back past the broken piggies to the break room. I'm just glad my ankle didn't break. Edit. I don't think people who have never pulled a pallet of dog food or water realize the difference in speed between how fast one can go with them when lagging around versus trying to be quick. I assure you that even if I weren't trying to be faster and was pulling at the speed I was going under normal circumstances, the pallet wouldn't have gone any slower any quicker. For these things, it's mostly a function of just how fast you can get up to speed, and not the final speed achieved. I was actually moving just slower than my normal walking speed. But you get to the point where going slower is horrible and going faster isn't an option. The race is how quickly you can attain that equilibrium, and how long you can sustain it. That'll make you faster in the overall trip. And this occurred as it was dying in the store, as these things are the last to be moved, so it was close to 10 to 10:30 p.m. 2. I work at a garden store and we use Christmas to stay open during the winter. We also pride ourselves in excellent customer service, which we fucking well better because we have an average markup of 75%. I personally really enjoy doing excellent customer service, especially because this family-owned business actually means it. So on with the story. I was over at the green cut trees, basically Christmas trees up on racks and hung up for people to pick out and take home. Most of our customers take roughly 5 minutes to pick out a tree if we help them, and I would guide them through the process of selecting a tree, conical shape, sparseness versus fullness, base branch wingspan, and the ever-important height. This time this lady showed up in the middle of the day, by herself. 90% of these sales are after work and with a group. She takes a good long while, almost 15 minutes, to pick out her tree. She is measuring things and walking around it, clearly checking everything out without my help. She goes up and down all the trees on the racks. I offered to help her and hold up several trees, but she rejected all help. She finally found one after taking a few measurements, waits for me to come over so I can get it off the string, strung up to the ceiling so they can spin it 180 degrees, and get a good look at it. I finished up with another customer and I walk over with her and get her tree down. I hand her the tag off the tree and tell her that I will prep her tree for her, get it a fresh cut and bale it, nail a stand to it, then meet her out front. She can go check out at the registers and swing her car around. I take her tree to the side of the building and fire up the chainsaw and take the bottom inch off the tree, wrap it up in string, and wait for her to get through the cashier's lines. When she comes out, she sees the fresh cut on the bottom of the tree, and she just stops dead in her tracks and says, "The tree is shorter." She is not mad at me, she is obviously sad because the tree is shorter. She just continues to stand there. So I ask her what's the matter. And slowly she starts to tear up and she tells me a little story. She married a guy with a 6-year-old about 2 years ago, and the little boy who had no mother his whole life hated her. Last year the husband got diagnosed with cancer and he passed away like a month or two before this. She had never patched things up with the son, a now 10-year-old. But she knew a real tree was important, and she had a hot tip from a sleepover that he wanted this bike. He did not think he was going to get it because he had not spotted any boxes big enough for it. But she got it. And she needed enough height under the tree to fit the bike because Christmas was going to be perfect for this kid, who just lost his dad. And this perfect Christmas was going to be the thing to remake their bond as she was his only parent now. So I told her we could cut branches off the bottom of the trees, or if she wanted to make a bike-shaped hole, we could make that happen too. When I said that, she went from like a marble bust that happened to have mist on its eyes, to straight up bawling for joy. We went back inside and picked out a whole new tree that was a lot thicker and taller. I cut out 3 branches that were more or less right on top of one another, and she had her bike-shaped hole. Customer called the store after Christmas to let them know that everything had gone perfectly, and she and now her son had bonded a lot over Christmas 10 times. She talked to every manager we had, and it was not until the owner of the whole franchise was who she talked to that she felt she had called and thanked enough. I met the owner on my 3rd day and we joked around, so yay, family business. I will never forget that lady and her son. 3. After work. Walk to the bar to meet some friends for drinks. Bladder is a walnut, so back and forth to washroom regularly past a party of 4 at a table. On the return from the first toilet run, I hear something like, "Come here, you," from some woman who looks like she just dipped her head in a bucket of makeup. Lack of manners do not dignify a response. Ignore it and rock on. Second go to washroom. Didn't get it all out. This bitch grabs my arm, squeezes her nails in, pulling me in close, and says 4 of the same, while tapping the glass with her other hand's nails. Bitchy elegant, I think, as she was imagining herself. In reality, just really damn aggressive and nasty. "I don't work here, lady." She lets go and I walk away. It's known in the bar any waiter can serve any table. They won't come to you, just get any of their attentions, like she would have done to get the drinks she has, because I doubt they would have waited that long without a drink. But she seems determined now, it's gotta be me. Third go to the toilet is worse than usual. Catch a death glare and on my way back kicks her bag under my feet to trip me up. She sort of succeeds and snarls I better not have broken anything. "And where are her drinks?" she asks. Fair game now. Back in a moment, they'll be on the house. Back to my table I go, out of line of sight with her now thanks to a wall. In my safe space away from crazy with booze. Perfect. Place is dead quiet. Hear a commotion a few minutes later kicking up. Tune my ear in? None other than her. She is arguing with the manager and some waiter about not being served, and wants the waiter to bring her free drinks like they promised her, or they leave. He is a soft-toned speaker, so can't make out what he says, only her loud, obnoxious self. A storm is brewing. I lie in wait. Or not, can't hold pee any longer. Take a different route, go pee, walk back out of washroom, and she notices me. Drink in her hand like she wanted to crush it to death. like she was just awarded a trophy that requires a death grip. A mission in her eyes, while looking like some sort of fugly meerkat. She was on the lookout for me. Decide fuck it, walk right past table at speed like I'm rushing to explain myself, but just speed by with a great big stupid vacant smile. IRL trolling. Explosion! She throws a large ice jug from the table at my back, shrieking in some trashy Amazonian tribal display. Hits me. No injury, but startled and fall. The manager comes a-rushing. Sweat pumping out of her at this point. Makeup contours blending together. 190/40 BP type stuff. Screaming like a loon she will get what she wants. The manager assesses the situation, and some older woman states something like, "She just threw the jug at him, no reason, and demanded he buy her a free drink." Close enough. And even makes her seem more Looney Tunes. Manager tells her she is barred. Out or police will be called. Making threats now. Her boyfriends, yes with an S, will be down to sort this out. Manager asks her to confirm she is making a physical threat. Grinding her teeth, she stomps out, irreparably tearing ankle tissue with her heels going off balance with her alpha walk, obviously struggling. Probably considering an A&E trip afterwards. Manager apologizes. I say it's cool, not his fault. Handled it well. She was just crazy, etc., etc. Can I get you and your friends around? It's on the house. I, for that moment, in those first few sips, swear I could actually taste justice. It had earthy tones with a hint of citrus, with a faint odor of courtroom and elderflower. 4. Another from the major truck and trailer rental place. You know the one. Busiest time of day. Every single person that rolls in is impatient and asking for discounts for the inconvenience of having to wait in line a few minutes. You heard me say no to the last 10 people, get the hint. The last customer storms out in a huff, honestly don't remember why. Typical Wednesday. Cue smiling Mr. Great Guy. I know that's gotta be his name because he is clearly positive everyone thinks that's what he is. That smile. That's the smile of self-importance. I take a breath. Here we go. That last one was a bit intense. I shrug. It happens. Listen, I was wondering if you could help me take my car off the trailer. Oh, that's who drove that thing on the lot. I'd noticed it earlier, but in the usual chaos hadn't had time to deal with it. The guy had pulled onto the lot with a rented moving truck, which was towing a tow dolly, a type of trailer for pulling cars, which was towing a car. You probably don't see the problem, but hang on, you'll catch it. Well, I can definitely help you take the trailer off the truck, but I'll ask you to remove the car from the trailer first. You can't do that? No, I'm not allowed. It's a pretty strict liability thing. The equipment I can manage, trucks and trailers included, but loading and unloading it, not something we can do. Listen, we do a lot of business with your company. Oh God, this speech. I hate this speech. Why do people think I care how much money they give to the corporation that's paying me minimum wage? Why do they think I'm super eager to keep them coming back so they can ask me to do more stupid crap? You aren't giving me a lot of business. You're giving some corporation a lot of business. I'm just the idiot enabling it to happen, without commission or tips. And the longer you talk, the more I think maybe we should just put a stop to this whole scenario. When he runs out of steam on that little rant, with the help of his wife remembering all the things they've rented in the past, he slows down enough to give me the space to jump in and apologize. At least, that's what he feels I'm supposed to do. I can see he's waiting for me to make it all better and rush out there and unhook his car, putting my ass on the line if anything happens in the process, taking the blame for any damage he notices on the car. That could have happened at any point, but you can be sure he'd blame me. Being all meek and servile. He's a good customer after all. Gotta keep the gravy train rolling. I stare at him, silent, unmoving, waiting for his speech to slow down and finally stop. I appreciate that, but I can't touch the car. Go ahead and take it down and we'll go from there. Well, the guy said not to touch anything. Not to unhook anything or mess with the chains. And you take care of everything. The guy. Well, that's totally true. You don't need to touch anything, and I can absolutely take the trailer off. But taking the car off is something you do yourself. Who put it on there? The rental guy. Press X for doubt. Wait, where did you get the trailer? We're coming in from... Oh good, this thing just went next level. We're a half-hour drive from the border of two big countries. He just came all the way from the far side of the other one. Why is he here of all places? I ask for his paperwork. He's supposed to drop everything off on the other side of the border. Why did he drive directly past his drop-off point and then cross the border with the trailer he didn't want to use anymore? What the hell is going on? Hey, just so you know, you're in the wrong place. You're supposed to drop off over here. Well, I know that. Oh, he knows that. Look, I'm just gonna leave the trailer here for a few days, come pick it up when we've unloaded, and then I'll take it back. I look at our lot. The trailers are piled too deep. Customers are parking across the street because we're so full right now. Besides, if he leaves it here, someone will see it in the morning, return it in the system, and he'll get a huge fee for dropping off not only at the wrong place, but the wrong country. This is a terrible idea. Probably best if he leaves the trailer literally anywhere else on the planet. Just anywhere else. It doesn't need to be here. Ever. But I never get to say any of that. My slight head shake is all it takes. He blows his top. Blah blah, you could do it, you just don't want to, blah blah. Don't you realize how much business, blah blah, how am I supposed to? And I'm thinking, this is my life right now. This is what I'm doing. This is happening. Cripes. He works his way up to asking who the manager is. I tell him, and that she's not in. He asks me what my relationship is with her. What? I try to decipher what that question can be implying. I admit there was an incredulous tone in my voice, but I catch myself before I launch into all-out mockery, instead saying, "Look, I don't know what that is supposed to mean, but that doesn't matter. The situation is what it is. I can't get the car off the trailer, and it's a bad idea to leave it here." He's eventually dragged out of the door by his wife as he's yelling at me about how useless I am. I catch a look of him pulling out of the lot. There's a chain dragging underneath the trailer now. Cripes. So, you know, typical Wednesday. 5. So this happened a month ago. I had a few hours to kill in between work, so I walked around the mall down the street. I go into the Teen Angst store. I'm wearing blue jeans, brown lace-up booties, a white t-shirt, and a navy blazer with my go-to grey purse. I have 4 earrings in each ear, 2 on the lobe and 2 on the cuff. But these are hidden by my headphones. Blasting AJJ to cut out the music that was playing from the speakers. I may be punk, but I don't listen to bad music. I take off my blazer and try on a jacket. I lay the blazer on my purse and lay the headphones on top of it because I'm clumsy, and I know I would have knocked them off somehow. As I'm reaching up for the jacket, curse my small stature, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I turn around and there's this younger girl popping gum and looking at me bored. Totally out of place in this store, wearing yoga pants and a tank top. But her hair was up and flashy, full face of overdone makeup, large hoop earrings. So there's no reason for her to come from a yoga class like one would think, given her attire. I'll be me, she will be her. Yes? Hey, so I need to get a present for my boyfriend. Okay. I need your help. Where did you get your tattoos? Did you get them here? I knew the white V-neck I was wearing was pretty thin, hence the blazer. I have 11 tattoos, most of them on my back and upper shoulders, so they showed pretty well. No, I got them from my artist. I don't think they do that here. What do you mean you don't know? You should know what your store offers. I want to talk to your manager. I'm sorry. Moves to put my blazer back on. I don't... She grabs a hold of the lanyard with my ID tag from my actual job that's wrapped around my belt hoop. Very close to my vagina. Hey, wait! Stunned for a second. Excuse me, could you please let go? By this time, an actual worker comes up. What's going on? She's terrible. Get your manager. You need to fire her. I am the manager. Why are you holding her lanyard? She thinks I work here. Now, ma'am, if you'd look at the lanyard. After I take it off so your hand doesn't get any closer to my privates, you can see I don't work here. No, you do work here. Why else would they hire you if you have so many tattoos? You can't work anywhere else in places like this. You can't work with kids or anywhere with class. With those tattoos. No one would hire you. Ma'am, I work with kids. I've chosen my placement very carefully. I don't have any large tattoos on my forearms because if it's warm out, I like to roll my sleeves up to my elbows. I maintain a level of class when working because it's good form, but that's just a personal choice. I have co-workers who have tattoos showing when working. The kids think they're cool, it's art, but again, it's a personal choice. I did not get my ink done here, they do not do that here. This is a clothing store, not a tattoo parlor. If you want to get a tattoo with your boyfriend, which I am very against, especially when you're so young, you're what, 16? First of all, that's too young to get a tattoo. Even if your parents gave you permission, they wouldn't let you because you are so young. You really need to think about what you put on your skin. It's there forever. That said, I flip the lanyard over to display my company's logo. I do not work here. I gather my things and am about to turn around to leave when she hits me and spits her gum out on me. This little girl straight up hits me in front of the manager of the store, other employees and customers, and most importantly, the cameras. It was a weak hit, and her face was twisted into one of hurt anger and embarrassment. Mine was one of initial shock, but then settled into calm. The manager's face was the Pikachu O face. She didn't hit hard enough to bruise, she just turned the side of my cheek red. The gum stuck to my chest. Do you feel better? She snarls out no and called me a fucking dyke, and then storms out. The manager is very apologetic and says that the mall security would get a hold of her. I paid it no mind. Tossed the gum into a trash can and asked about the jacket. The manager said he would give me a discount. I got the jacket and went back to work. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Adventures in Fast Food and Retail, number 46. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Alright, a couple of shoutouts here, I think. I'm totally professional and prepared. Yeah, there we go. Right, author of story number 4. They do have a YouTube channel. So let's get that right. YouTube credit there. Come on. Load up. There we go. It's called Oh I Get Jokes. That's the Reddit username. And they have a YouTube channel, which is also Oh I Get Jokes. I will include a link to it in the description. So if you'd like to head on over and have a look to see what they're up to over there. In their own words, it's dusty from lack of updates, but I'm sure they'll get to it eventually. And next is a special shout out to the author of story number 5. That's a nice punk lady who got accosted by the grumpy teenager who thought she could morph reality by, I don't know, yelling and spitting gum on people. Never understand the logic of these people. I mean, it's like, okay, we get you made a mistake, just admit you made a mistake and move on. Don't try to, I don't know, just through sheer force of will, change things. And anyway, it doesn't matter. I was giving a shout out, and that is Reddit user Bring Back Radarto 4077. I think that might be an anime character. I'm not sure. You'd think with all the neckbeard stories I've narrated on here that I'd have anime names down pat. But anyway, shout out to both those lovely people. And I think with that, yes, of course, that last story there took a lot longer to record than it should have. It took about half an hour, whereas it should have took about 10 minutes, I think, because the neighbours wouldn't shut up with whatever they were doing, drilling and hammering. But now that I'm done, they've of course shut up, which is good. So with any luck, I'll actually get done at a decent time today. Okay, and with that, I'm going to stop being Grumble Freezer, and I'm going to become Edit Freezer, and so on and so forth. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.